see if in fact the storm system is still spinning. All right, so here we are. And we're going to zoom in, and you can see how intense it is right around Lakewood Park and over towards 713 and moving over towards Indrio and Highway 1. So I'm going to switch over to Melbourne's radar. We were showing you our very own radar, but now we're going to use Melbourne's radar. And from there, we're going to go back over to the base velocity. All right, so you can see where the strongest winds are. In fact, now the strongest winds are just south of the turnpike, over right here near towards Orange Avenue. And that is North Herd Canal in that general area. So just to the south of the turnpike, that's where we're seeing the strongest winds. And you can see the little spin right there. So what we're really looking for is the strongest winds in the red. And then right next to it, you can see the little green. That's what we call a couplet. So this is it. So if we zoom out a little bit more, you'll get a better view of it. And it's that couplet right there that is producing the tornado. And this does run through 645. And you can see how bright the echo returns are, though. That tells us that these are some really strong winds. So these are some damaging winds, and that's one of the reasons why we do have that severe thunderstorm warning in effect. So not only do we have the tornado warning in effect, we also have that severe thunderstorm warning in effect. So we'll move it on over towards, back over towards the radar, and we can see that. John, you want to jump on in?
No, I was just going to mention the fact that on our WPTV First Alert Doppler, you can see all of these boundaries just kind of colliding with each other, the sea breeze front, and when these storms all crash into each other, the outflow tends to go in different directions. That's helping to spin up some of these intense storms. If we can switch over to Max 2, is that possible for just a brief moment here? You can see what I'm talking about. Look at these little blue lines there. They just kind of like spread out all over the place. We call sea breeze interaction and thunderstorm boundaries there. So we've got the severe thunderstorm warning and also a tornado warning, as Steve's been talking about there. The unconfirmed report so far of a tornado on the ground was just west of Fort Pierce. Don't know exactly how far west yet. We're still trying to effort getting some pictures up that way there via social media and otherwise. Also some strong storms out across western portions of Palm Beach County, and there was some torrential downpours around Boca Raton and up toward Delray Beach as well. That is now pushed off the coast. But right now, the tornado warning for St. Lucie County and also portions of southernmost Indian River County as well. You see a lot of lightning there. That's never a good sign. It means a storm, even just without a tornado, is very, very intense. Steve, so I just want to make the point, just for the folks at home, it's not like we're seeing a storm system move in or a cold front or something like that, nothing tropical. This is just strictly the combination of daytime heating and the sea breeze coming in off the ocean today. The flow is very, very light. So eventually some flow of air is going to take over. In a situation like this, it's the sea breeze that takes over. There's really nothing to knock it down. And we also have some southwesterly winds in the upper atmosphere. So the sea breeze, instead of going well inland out toward the lake and out toward the west coast, is actually starting to head back the other way. And that's the reason why we're seeing this firing up. And unfortunately, we have a very similar pattern in store for tomorrow as well, which means flooding is certainly possible on top of the rain that we saw from that tropical system on Saturday. So, of course, we're watching this right now. Steve, back to you with Viper, where you can tell us more about that couplet you were talking about there in St. Lucie County.
Yes, if we go back to Viper Computer, not only does the radar look for rainfall, it also tracks the wind, and that's the Doppler part of Doppler radar. So when we say Doppler radar, it actually tracks the wind, the direction of the wind, and the intensity of the wind. And sometimes when that happens, you can see the rotation within the overall flow, and that's what we're seeing right here. So this is the radar, and you can see the intense rainfall. This is right here, the polygon for the tornado warning. So if you're just joining us, we do that tornado warning in effect for northern St. Lucie County until 6:45, and it's just towards the west of Fort Pierce. But St. Lucie, you are in that. So I'm going over to the base velocity, and we're going to see. Let me put on MLB radar, and we're going to go to. All right, so there it is. All right, so you can see how intense right there those winds are. So it's that little really bright red spot that you're seeing, and over next to it you have the green spot, and that's the rotation. So basically when you're looking at this, green is going towards the radar. Now keep in mind, this is the radar for Melbourne. So that's up in Brevard County. So you can see that that green tells us that the winds are coming in from the south, going towards the radar up in Melbourne, and the red is the winds going away from the radar, so going south from Melbourne. And that's why you can see that we have the green and the red, that little couplet right there, and that is the actual rotation within these strong thunderstorms. So that's where the tornado warning is in, and it's really right now on top of 95 and the Turnpike just to the west of Fort Pierce. So that's where we're seeing that couplet, and it's right inside. Look, okay, so they shrunk the polygon now, so they are continuing with this tornado warning through 6:45 p.m. They shrunk the polygon, so on the north side you're out of the risk, but now the polygon has gotten a little bit smaller, but they continue with this tornado warning through 6:45. And this is right where I-95 and the Turnpike are very close to each other, just to the west of Fort Pierce and just to the west of St. Lucie. Now that's where that is. So we'll switch it back over towards base velocity. What does it say?
A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. They've identified the spot now located near Treasure Coast Airport, about 7 miles southwest of Indrio, moving southeast at about 15. So
okay,
gives you a little bit of an identifier location right there, right around Treasure Coast Airport.
So not only do we have that tornado warning in effect, we also have that severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 6:45. And that means that these storms, or this particular storm, does have the potential of producing damaging winds in excess of 60 miles an hour, and certainly flooding rains. Again, we picked up so much rainfall from Tropical Cyclone 1 that the ground is pretty much saturated, and the rain that is coming out of the storm system has nowhere to go. So we will likely see some flooding with this. Can we put up a big little box? Is that possible? Okay, so I was talking to the rooms. All right, so of course in a situation like this, you're definitely going to want to stay inside and in your safe rooms, whether that be a closet or a bathroom, something that doesn't have windows, an interior room in your house. That is the safest place to be in a situation like this. You definitely don't want to be in any room that does have windows. You want to be in your safe room, which is typically a closet or something that's in the interior of your home and that doesn't have any windows. That's always the safest place to be in a situation like this. So there's that tornado, and you can see it right now. So we're going to zoom on in even more. This is right around 95 and the Turnpike, right near Angle Road and Canal Road number 1. That's where we're having the rotation, and that's where we're seeing the heaviest rain with this. And notice all of the lightning strikes too. So not only that, we're also seeing those lightning strikes, and they're seeing dozens and dozens. So this is a very nasty storm cell, and it is going to last through about 6:45. So that's what the Weather Service is saying, that we do have that tornado warning in effect until 6:45, and we also have that severe thunderstorm warning in effect for the next 15 minutes. So this is radar, and you can see the rainfall coming down with it. Now we're going to take a look at the winds again, and there's that little couplet. So you can see it is basically right inside of that polygon, which is just to the west of St. Lucie and just to the west of Fort Pierce, and it is right inside of that polygon. So there it is, and this is the Turnpike, and this is right across 95, so right around Orange Avenue. So if you live anywhere near Orange Avenue and the Turnpike and 95, you're definitely going to want to be in your safe rooms right now as this storm works its way towards the southeast. So there's John. John, tell us what you're seeing.
If we can, in the control room, if you can switch over to Max 3, going to throw you a little bit of a curveball here for just a minute. We have several different weather computers back there. There we go. We've put the storm tracker on here to let you know who is in the path of this. First of all, it's moving at about southeasterly at about 15 miles an hour. So let me step out of the way so you can see this right here. Here's where it's going to be headed, around Fort Pierce by about 6:34. So let's see, it's about 6:30, less than 5 minutes from now. It's going to be in the Fort Pierce area. So take cover now there. Surfside Park at about 6:40. And then over toward Indian River Estates by 6:50. If it holds together and makes it toward the coast, and it looks like it will, it's got some pretty good momentum going right now, about 6:59, 7 o'clock or so, right around Hutchinson Island. So those of you, say, around Collins Park Estates, Indian River Estates, Hutchinson Island, you've got a little time to get to a safe place right now. But if you're in, say, Fort Pierce, right around Ocean Grill, Surfside Park, your time is short as far as getting out of the way. So get to a safe place. As Steve has been mentioning, If you're indoors right now, you want to get to an interior hallway or interior door away from all windows, get inside maybe a bathroom or an interior closet because of the tornado warning in effect until 6:45. This storm apparently has produced a tornado. We're still trying to get solid confirmation from the National Weather Service on that, but it's certainly capable of producing a tornado. And that is the track. You see just hundreds of lightning strikes at the very least, and then also the possibility of some rotation, as Steve's been indicating, that couplet there. You see the air flowing toward and away from the radar, so that indicates rotation there. So if you're in those areas, again, if you're just joining us right now, a tornado warning for St. Lucie County until 6:45. If you're in Fort Pierce, take cover now. It's on the way. Surfside Park at 6:40, Indian River Estates 6:50, and then Hutchinson Island at about 6:59 as it works its way from northwest to southeast at about 15 miles an hour over the next 20 to 30 minutes or so.
Yeah, so it's right around Orange Avenue. So it looks like Orange Avenue, that's where we're seeing that rotation. It looks like the rotation is getting a little bit weaker, so there's some good news there. We're not seeing it be as intense as it was just a couple of minutes ago. So that is certainly good news, but nonetheless, if you are within this polygon here, you're definitely going to want to be inside and in one of your safe rooms, whether that be an interior closet or a bathroom, basically any room in the inside that doesn't have any windows. So we still have that tornado warning in effect that does run through 6:45, and we have the severe thunderstorm warning that does run through 6:45. So as we zoom on out, you can see that it is getting a little bit weaker. So the winds are starting to get weaker and the rotation is getting a little bit weaker. So we'll see if they extend it past 6:45, which is another 13 minutes or so. Otherwise, we're certainly seeing very heavy rainfall right now into that area, right around 95 and the Turnpike just to the west of Fort Pierce. We'll zoom on out and show you again where the severe thunderstorm warning is in effect, because it's not just that tornado warning, it's also that severe thunderstorm warning. If you could put Viper into the big box, is that possible? Viper into the big box? Yeah, so there we are. So we have that severe thunderstorm warning, and that does include St. Lucie. It does include the Barrier Islands. And with a severe thunderstorm, that means we're having winds in excess of 60 miles an hour. Those are damaging winds. That can knock down trees, power lines. It could pick up objects and blow those objects around. And those objects, if you happen to be outside, they can hit you. And that's why it's so dangerous to be outside during a severe thunderstorm warning, because the winds are so strong that they can knock down those trees and those power lines. So again, we do have that severe thunderstorm warning until 6:45. This is not the only area that we're monitoring. Earlier today, we had big time rainfall into southern Palm Beach County, right around Boca Raton, but that cell has now pushed offshore. However, we continue to see that flood watch that we had. Well, the flood watch has now been pushed down into Broward County, and it looks like it has been allowed to expire, the flood advisory, into southern Palm Beach County. But we have another cell just to the east of Pahokee and Belle Glade, so that one is now starting to pull away from you. That is starting to push into our western suburbs, right around Lion Country Safari and the acreage. This is not a severe storm, but nonetheless, it is producing some big time rain and probably wind gusts at about 30 to 40 miles an hour. There's another one that's starting to develop right here. This is just south of the farms, in between the gardens. That's another cell that is developing. That one's pushing towards I-95 and over towards West Jupiter and Abacoa. That's where we're seeing that cell developing. But the one that we're definitely monitoring the most is this one into the Treasure Coast. This is where we have the really intense rainfall right now. You can see the purples. That's telling us that some very heavy rain is coming out of this system. We're likely going to see some flash flooding as well, because the ground is saturated, and we do have that, not just the severe thunderstorm warning, but the tornado warning, which is right here in this polygon. The polygon is getting smaller, so that's the good news. But if you're in Angel Villas, if you're around Orange County and Orange Avenue and 95 and the Turnpike, that's where we're seeing the worst of it right now as far as the winds go. So let's go back to our wind product. Is there, oh yeah, so there's the Florida Turnpike west of Fort Pierce, and it looks like there has been an accident. The rain coming down is so intense, it makes it very, very difficult to drive, very difficult to see. In fact, John, on his way to work today, got caught in the storm down in southern Palm Beach County as he rolled through Boca Raton. And you can tell that in a situation like that, a lot of cars just pull over onto the median and just wait, because it is very, very difficult to see all the rainfall that's coming on down. All right, so back to the tornado warning. It looks like it's, at least according to velocity, it looks like it's starting to fall apart. But nonetheless, until the Weather Service cancels the tornado warning, you definitely should not let your guard down. So at 6:45, we'll see if they extend it, but it is not looking as intense as it was a little while ago. So it does look like it is getting a little bit weaker. So that's the good news there. But nonetheless, we're still seeing a lot of lightning strikes and certainly big time rainfall out of this storm system. So the rain, in fact, stretches from St. Lucie over towards the Barrier Islands and then up into southern Indian River County, right around Florida Ridge. And then Vero Beach, you're in a little lull right now. Likewise, Indian River Shores, Fellsmere, you're out of it. You did get some big time rains earlier, but it's this particular cell. It looks like it is starting to get weaker. So that's the good news there. But nonetheless, if you're in this polygon, you definitely don't want to come out of your safe room until all is clear from the National Weather Service. And we'll see at 6:45, that's in 10 minutes, if they allow this tornado warning to expire. John, did you get to look at the chat? Is there anything
Yeah,
new?
the severe thunderstorm warning for the Indian River portion of the warning has now been canceled. So it's beginning to pull out of Indian River County. St. Lucie County is still under a severe thunderstorm warning and a tornado warning until 6:45. They're indicating that rotation is broadening, so it's not as tight as it was. They're going to continue to monitor the trends there, but again, a tornado warning in effect for St. Lucie County until 6:45. Severe thunderstorm warning as well till 6:45. We'll see if that doesn't get extended. It's 8 minutes from now. We still have quite a bit of intense activity on the radar. Still trying to get confirmation on that tornado that was apparently located near the Treasure Coast Airport and moving southeast at 15. That was back at around 6:26. So nothing new to report. Just everybody downstream from there needs to continue to monitor the movement on this. It's going to be in about Surfside Park in about 4 minutes from now, and then over toward Indian River Estates by 6:50. Hutchison Island is where this is likely going to push through as well, Steve, by about 6:59. So everybody needs to take cover. There is still a tornado warning until 6:45, which means you need to get to an interior room inside your home or apartment. Get away from all windows and doors. Get away from all glass. And we'll continue to monitor this over the next 10, 15 minutes. But as you indicated, it seems like, according to the velocity indicator on the radar, as it is beginning to, the rotation is beginning to ease up just a bit, but still it's intense lightning, winds that could exceed 60 miles an hour, producing damage. And of course, with all the rain we just saw from that tropical cyclone on Saturday, flash flooding is also something that's very possible as well. Very dangerous to be out there in these conditions right now, especially for the next 15 to 30 minutes or so, Steve.
Yeah, so you can see the polygon, how it just shrunk. So they did take Indian River County out of that severe thunderstorm warning. So the polygon has gotten smaller as the cell is now mainly into northern St. Lucie County. So with the severe thunderstorm warning, that means winds of over 60 miles an hour. One of the big concerns today was hail. We do have cooler air in the upper levels of the atmosphere. Basically, there's a little disturbance moving over the state of Florida a few thousand feet above us. And as a result, the temperatures there have gotten a little bit cooler. So whenever that happens, hail is a concern, and that's what we had today. So I wouldn't be surprised that with these severe thunderstorm warnings, if we had some hail within them. But
so, hey, Steve?
Sure.
Yeah, the National Weather Service now saying that there's not much of a rotation signature or strong winds apparent on the radar anymore, which is what you've been talking about for the past several minutes. So you also indicated what appears to be a bit of a weakening trend on this very dangerous storm. So they're going to allow the tornado warning to expire at 6:45 in about 5 minutes from now. It does not look like it'll be reissued, but it looks like the tornado warning will be allowed to expire in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, so we were monitoring that on velocities. Now, velocity is not typically a product that we show very often. We only really show it during situations like this because it's a tool that is so useful. You can see that there's certainly some gusty winds within it. So notice there's a little brightening in the red, but the couplet that we had, which was the red on one side and the green on the other, that has certainly gotten weaker, and that's one of the reasons why the Weather Service will allow the tornado warning to expire at 6:45, and that's just in 5 minutes. But nonetheless, if you're in the polygon, you definitely want to be inside and away from windows and in a safe space until all is clear. We still have that severe thunderstorm warning in effect, and that is getting smaller as we speak. And we'll go back to radar. And you can see that even though the winds may be getting a little bit weaker, we're still seeing some very heavy rainfall and certainly lots of lightning strikes. So these storms will still pack a punch until all of this starts to wind down. Usually after sunset, you lose all of the daytime heating and the atmosphere starts to stabilize. And at that point in time, the strongest storms start to fizzle on out. Very typical. We are in the summer pattern here in South Florida, and every single day with the daytime heating and with the sea breeze interactions, you get these storms that do develop, and sometimes they become very, very intense with certain elements in the atmosphere, and that's what we're seeing today. So we do have those elements in place, and that's why we did get not just one, but two severe thunderstorm warnings today, and also that tornado warning that is still in effect for the next 4 minutes. John?
Yeah, you know, Steve, what's interesting is a lot of times this happens, but farther west, out across the middle of the interior portions of the peninsula. And not that it goes unnoticed by us, but it really doesn't affect anybody. It's usually out in the Everglades or the unpopulated areas. But occasionally we get a southwest flow here on the East Coast. The sea breeze is the predominant flow, probably 8 days out of 10 in the rainy season. But occasionally those other 2 days out of 10, you get a southwesterly flow that comes in, you know, from the west-southwest, and the storms kind of blow back the other way. Those are the ones that we get most concerned about, because those are the ones that come in so late in the day with all that daytime heating, and it kind of clashes with the sea breeze. So we're in one of those patterns today, and likely going to see that west-southwesterly steering flow tomorrow as well. So we're looking at possibly a repeat performance tomorrow. We're going to switch over to Max 2. And I want to go ahead and show you just kind of a wide view of what's going on here. That's not the only storm that we're tracking. We've got other very heavy, intense storms in western portions of Palm Beach County. They're not severe, but something we're going to keep an eye on as they continue to move from west to east over the next 30 to 45 minutes or so. And that tornado warning for St. Lucie County is going to expire in about the next minute or two. So we'll see that red polygon there disappearing, as will the severe thunderstorm warning as well at 6:45. And again, that's the biggest concern right now. From Lakewood Park down to about Fort Pierce, had at least so far, we're calling it an unconfirmed report of a tornado right around Treasure Coast Airport, but that might be confirmed here pretty soon. Some folks on social media and some weather spotters indicating that they did have a visual sighting of a tornado on the ground out that way. So we're waiting for confirmation on that. But again, here's a close-up look at that very intense storm heading toward Hutchinson Island by the top of the hour. So everybody in eastern portions of St. Lucie County and across the Barrier Islands, take cover now, because even though if there isn't a tornado, it's still a very, very dangerous storm. And one of the ways we can track the intensity of storms is by taking the rain off and just showing you where the lightning is. Very intense storms from just east off the coast of Sebastian on down toward Fort Pierce. So that continues to progress its way to the southeast, 15, 16, 17 miles an hour. And that'll be off the coast by around the top of the hour or so, and things will start improving. Also some lightning strikes going on across interior portions of Palm Beach County. So you can see the small spot there with the main storm, main event right now is northeastern portions of St. Lucie County. And by the way, the warning for Indian River County has expired now, Steve.
All right, so we have 1 minute left at 6:45. It will expire. It looks like the storm system, at least as far as the winds are concerned, have gotten a little bit weaker. If we could put Viper back into the big box, if that is possible, if we can put Viper back into the big box, and there it is. So we're still seeing the very heavy rain right now from Fort Pierce into St. Lucie, and lots of lightning strikes and winds likely at about 30 to 40 miles an hour within some of these thunderstorms. So these are pretty strong storms that will continue to move on through. The severe thunderstorm warning has been now expanded until 7:15, and the tornado warning, okay, it expires at 6:45. All right, so the tornado warning has expired. Good news there, but we still have another severe thunderstorm warning that runs through 7:15. All right, folks, we're going to join NBC Nightly News on our WPTV and over on Fox 29. We'll be right back. We're going to take a little break, and we'll join you once again.
This is WPTV News Channel 5 at 6.
What do? You're caught between the devil and the deep blue sea.
Gas prices continuing to climb across Florida and nationwide. The numbers making everyone do a double take. Tonight, a look at how local businesses are being impacted.
It will
achieve 4,200 residential units, more than 4,000 homes of different types and sizes and prices.
Bringing some relief for those priced out of paradise tonight, how a new development on the Treasure Coast one step closer to reality. We begin at 6 with weather and a local flood advisory.
First Alert meteorologist Steve Villanueva joining us now with what we can expect through the evening. Steve?
Well, we'll continue to see those showers and storms popping on up at least through sunset. Then after that, things start to settle on down. But here's a live look outside. This is Boca, where we did have a severe thunderstorm warning earlier. Now, the National Weather Service has placed a good part of the region under a marginal risk of severe weather. So we could have another isolated severe storm as we head into the next 1 to 2 hours. But this is the storm that moved across southern Palm Beach County. It is now sliding offshore, and the weather is certainly improving from Boca through Delray. But in the wake of that storm system, we picked up so much rain that we do have a flood advisory in effect, and that does run through 6:45. Keep in mind that southern Palm Beach County picked up anywhere from 6 to 8 inches of rain not too long ago with that tropical cyclone that moved on through, so the ground is saturated. We're also watching a couple of storms popping into the Treasure Coast. This one right here is certainly on the strong side. This is right near I-95 and the turnpike into southern Indian River County, northern St. Lucie County. This one is likely producing some hail. You can see that right there in the white. That tells us that these are some very serious echoes with this cell right here. Also seeing very heavy rain and lots of lightning strikes. Winds most likely at about 40 to 50 with that one. So that one is certainly on the strong side. And we're also tracking a few more storms that are getting going back across the lake. And these two will make a run towards the east, and we'll watch those. The overall flow is offshore. So any storm that develops inland will make a run towards the I-95 corridor. We'll have these storms around through about sunset. Then they start to weaken. Your forecast, your extended one coming up.
Fuel frustration, prices that are so painful. $5, look at that, $5.09, almost $5.10 for regular, paying with cash at I-95 and PGA. Shannon, you and I know you at home, never thought I'd see these kind of numbers here.
No, really. And it really is impacting so many people, individuals, businesses all across the board. Prices in Florida up almost $5 per gallon at most gas stations everywhere. And unfortunately, analysts say there's really no end in sight, at least not yet. We do have team coverage on this tonight. Matt Cesny showing us this evening how high gas prices are really impacting those local businesses out there. But first, we begin with Contact 5 consumer investigator Jessica Bruno. She's on Dixie Highway in West Palm Beach, where gas right now is really pricey. Jessica?
Right now, it's $5.19 per gallon here at Dixie Highway and Belvedere. This is the highest price that we found while driving around today, and the national average is expected to climb even more. People we spoke with simply can't afford it.
It's very expensive right now.
Prices at the pump
So it's crazy. I'm poor.
aren't getting any lower, fueling a lot of frustration.
Yeah, I have 3 kids and I'm single mother and it's very hard.
It's a crude awakening. If you drive down Dixie Highway from 469 to 519, the average is still hovering around $5 a gallon and has been for weeks.
Gasoline supply is low. It's at its lowest seasonally since 2014. And of course, we have the Russian invasion of Ukraine that's pushed up oil prices significantly. So basically everything that could go wrong is going wrong.
And some analysts are now saying the national average per gallon is expected to rise to $6 by Labor Day.
And I believe that was from JP Morgan had suggested that that's a possibility. But I would say that, anything's a possibility, but is it likely? At this point,